So I got the car all back together and I took it for a drive last weekend, and when I pulled it back in the garage, I smelled a little more, it smelled a little more gassy than I'm used to or than I like to smell. So I took a look because I had just changed the carburetor, this bottom bolt right here. I had just helicoiled that because I had buggered it up. So I put it all back together and I primed this front bowl, and I didn't have any leaking, but when I took it for a drive, I did have a leak. It seemed like it's coming from this side. You can see the wetness right there. So I thought the bowl was leaking again, but in fact, when I worked this accelerator pump over here, it's the accelerator pump that's leaking. And I have never rebuilt this car. Car's been built for 21 years and running great, more or less. So now it's time to rebuild the carburetor. So the accelerator pump is this little guy down here. And what happens is it's got a rubber gasket, and when you floor it, it pushes that up, and that rubber gasket will start leaking after time, after 21 years apparently. And so with your rebuild kit, you get a new one of those. So that's cool. So there you go. And this is important when you're working on your carburetor, to have your oatmeal cover on it. So I'm going to remove this whole carb assembly as one unit. So I'll disconnect the vacuum lines, probably over there, over there. And then I will disconnect the fuel line probably right here, drain it out into a bucket down there. I'll probably disconnect the battery. And then there's just 4 bolts here holding the carburetor down. And then I will disconnect this choke, which is just right here, and then pull the thing through. And then the throttle on the other side. Then the carburetor, I'll stick it on the workbench and rebuild it. Yes, of course. So here I've got the bucket. I've got a funnel running up underneath the fuel. So I'm going to disconnect this. The fuel's There was no question when I was building the car that it would have a carburetor. It just seems right on the Cobra. It's part of the character of the car, its personality, the entire Cobra experience.
This one's a Holley 4150 double pumper with mechanical choke and mechanical secondaries. The carburetor is the part of the car that gets the most attention as far as maintenance. I've replaced the base gasket twice and the front bowl gasket twice, and in this video I'm replacing the accelerator pump. And if I only let it sit for a maximum of a month between startups, everything is fine. But if it sits longer, then the front bowl will go dry and sometimes the front bowl will drip. I usually just loosen up the bowl screws and tighten them, being careful not to over tighten them. If you over tighten them, which you can do easily, you end up stripping the threads and you have to helicoil it. I bought the Holley trick kit, which includes just about every gasket you would need, but I ended up only replacing the accelerator pump, you know, the only part that was leaking. Yeah, I'll probably do voiceover anyway. So here's the old one. It came out of there. Here's the new one. I already kind of filmed the box. So let's see, this goes in here. And this goes like this, right? Because it fills up with gas on top of it, and then it pushes it up to give it a squirt, an extra squirt. So then it just goes on like that. Am I filming it at all? Can you see it on the screen there?
Yep, looking good.
So, I mean, yeah, we can look through the rest of the gaskets and just see if we think anything, if we ought to just replace anything else.
How much is the kit?
Oh, it's like $75.
Yeah.
But, you know, as often as I have to work on a car, which isn't that often, I didn't even care.
Yeah. No, I know.
Reassembly is, of course, the reverse of disassembly, and after we got it all back together and troubleshot a leaking fuel rail, it started right up. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, hit the like button and think about subscribing. It really does help YouTube algorithms find my videos. Thanks again.